star, what a miracle you are. Wonder how you ever came to be. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, are there any miracles for me?
Little Tree lived many, many years ago in a land quite distant from our own. Like every other tree, he sprouted from a tiny seed and began to grow. Little Tree could hardly wait until he was strong enough to push his head up out of the ground so he could see the world about him. So he rested and gathered his strength for that big day. He drank all the fresh rainwater he could hold and sent his roots down as far as he could to get a good, solid foothold in the earth. One day, Little Tree felt that he could make it, so he gave himself a mighty push and fairly shot up out of the ground. It was so easy it surprised him. He looked around. Little Tree was growing on top of a hill. In the distance, he could see a small town, and close by was a road running into the town. He was busy looking at everything about him when he was startled by a voice which seemed to come from above.
Hello there, Little Tree.
Little Tree turned around and looked up. There, right beside him, was a huge tree smiling down at him.
I've been wondering when you would pop out of the ground. I could see the dirt moving around, and I knew you were trying to push through.
Little Tree was still awed by the size of his neighbor. He never dreamed that a tree could grow so tall.
Wow, you must be 1,000 feet tall.
No, not quite. I figure I'm only about 40 feet. But I guess that's high enough. I'm good and strong, and that's what really counts.
I hope I'll be as big and strong as you are when I grow up.
You will be. Just get lots of sunshine and send your roots down deep to absorb plenty of nourishment from the earth.
Oh, I will. I'll do anything you say, because I want to grow up to be just like you.
Well, that's fine. I'll teach you everything I know and do everything I can to help you get started. Son, there's a lot that you gotta learn about living.
Okay.
Stick close and I'll try to lend a helping hand.
That's great.
We'll be like two stumps in a bog, two bumps on a log, and we'll sing along in harmony. Because we're two of a kind, two of a kind. Oh, two different sizes of the same design. Two of a kind, two of a kind, and we'll sing along in harmony.
I'm just a small sprout, but I am gonna be growing.
That's right.
I hope that someday I'm good and strong like you.
Oh, you will be.
I'll be a chip off the old block, stick off the old stalk, and I'll sing along in harmony.
Because we're two of a kind, two of a kind. Oh, two different sizes of the same design. Two of a kind, two of a kind, and we'll sing along in harmony. Boom, 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 boom. Because we're two of a kind, two of a kind. Oh, two different sizes of the same design. Two of a kind, two of a kind, and we'll sing along in harmony. Little tree, you should begin to keep a record of your growth, sort of a diary like all trees in the world do.
But how?
Well, the mark you make around your trunk will remain there year after year, and as you grow, the marks will form rings. Other trees and even some people can read these marks almost like reading a book, and from them, they can learn all about us.
Wow, I better get started right away.
Little Tree could see that he had a lot to learn about the business of growing up.
I am very small now, but I'm gonna grow. Someday I'll be tall and strong from head to toe. But before my arms can reach out to the skies, I must learn and listen so I will become wise. Wisdom, wisdom, make me strong. Bring me joy when birds have lost their song. Wisdom, wisdom, I love you more than gold. All my heart will seek for you until I'm very old. Growing is not easy. It will take some time. I'm not in a hurry. Every day is mine. Growing up is more than having bigger size. My heart and mind get larger as I become more wise. Wisdom, wisdom, make me strong. Bring me joy when birds have lost their song. Wisdom, wisdom, I love you more than gold. All my heart will seek for you until I'm very old.
The days passed and became weeks as Little Tree continued to grow and learn. One night, while he was sleeping, a great cloudburst of rain fell over the land. Water spilled over the hilltop as if dumped from giant buckets. Little Tree awoke with a start and was seized with panic. He could feel himself being torn from the earth by the rushing waters. He was still quite young, and his roots were not deep enough or strong enough to withstand the pulling and pushing of the torrents which swirled around him. Little Tree called frantically to his friend.
Help! Help! Friend Tree, please help me!
But the big tree was sleeping soundly. He enjoyed a good rainstorm, for he was big and strong, and the wind and rain were like a lullaby to him. A bellowing gust of wind swept over the hill and bent Little Tree almost to the ground. As he straightened up, he shouted once more with all his might.
Help!
This time his neighbor heard and looked down to see what was troubling his little friend. He recognized the danger at once. With two of his huge leafy arms, he quickly formed a canopy over Little Tree and protected him from the driving rain, which had been loosening all the dirt around his roots. When he finally caught his breath, Little Tree sighed with relief.
Boy, that was a close one.
Yes, I thought you were a goner for sure. Why, you turned as white as a birch tree.
I'm sure glad you were here.
Me too. That was really too close.
But now I know I can make it with you as my friend.
We are the best of friends, huh?
Yep, forever and ever.
Little Tree and his big friend talked into the night as the storm finally passed and the moon shone through the clouds once again. Through the years, Little Tree developed into a beautiful tree. Though he really wasn't such a little tree anymore, his friends still called him Little Tree, and the name seemed to stick. As he grew, Little Tree began to think more and more of what might happen to him when he reached the age when he would be of value as lumber. His big companion often talked of what he would like to become. His dream was to be made into an ox cart and travel around the country, drawn by a team of oxen or mules. Little Tree wasn't so sure he wanted to be cut down and made into anything, though.
Why can't we just stay here where we are?
Maybe we will. You see, I believe that our Creator has put everything here on earth for some useful purpose, even if we can't always tell just what that purpose is. Now, with you and I, maybe we're meant to just grow here and furnish a nice, shady resting place for men traveling along that road. Or perhaps we'll be cut down and made into something one day. But I do know we have some purpose in being here.
Little Tree was still not convinced that everything served a useful purpose.
I'd sure like to know what those pesky little bugs that always bother us are good for.
They bother us, but look at all the meals they furnish our friends the birds. God made the uggity bugs so very small, no one could possibly ever count them all. Though we may be bugged and bitten by ticks and gnats and fleas, remember they're delicious to the bird communities. He made the birdies to fly above the trees. They like to swing on the early morning breeze. They can toot and tweet and twitter a very happy tune, especially in springtime when the flowers start to bloom. We're his creation, quite the sensation. When you remember that we came from God's imagination, He has a purpose for everything, from the bugs and the bees and the flowers and the trees to the birdies that like to sing. God made the heavens and earth in 7 days. All of the universe shows His mighty ways. With a bang and boom by jingle, He made the land and sea. Then He was very careful when He thought of you and me. We're His creation, quite the sensation. When you remember that we came from God's imagination, He has a purpose for everything, from the bugs and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the fish and the seas and the mice and the cheese and the dogs and the fleas and the he's and the she's to the birdies that like to sing. We're His creation, quite the sensation. When you remember that we came from God's imagination, He has a purpose for everything.
Yeah, from the bugs and the bees,
And the flowers and the trees,
and the fish and the seas,
and the mice and the cheese,
and the dogs and the fleas,
and the he's and the she's,
and the ducks and the sneeze,
and the thanks and the please,
and the storm and the breeze,
and the elbows and knees,
and the doors and the keys,
and the fiddly-dees,
and the ABCs,
and the 1, 2, 3s,
and the hippopotamus,
and the chimpanzees, and the birdies that like to sing.
Big Tree, you know everything.
Some weeks later, a group of men with axes and saws came along the road and stopped to examine the big tree closely. They walked all around him and looked at him from all sides. Little Tree could hear them talking of what a fine, strong tree his friend was. It made him proud and happy that they recognized Big Tree's superior qualities. And Big Tree was wildly happy.
At last, I'm going to be made into something. Oh, I hope it's an ox cart.
Little Tree was sad at the thought of losing his friend and neighbor, but the Big Tree was so happy that he soon found himself sharing his enthusiasm. It wasn't long before the Big Tree was cut down and hauled away, and Little Tree was left alone on the hilltop. He looked over at the remaining stump and examined the rings. Big Tree had kept his diary well. There was his complete life history, down to the last detail. For years after that, Little Tree spent many happy hours reading the story left in the stump of his companion. One unforgettable night, Little Tree was roused from his sleep by a strange noise. It seemed that he could hear singing, and yet it was singing such as he had never heard before. It was wonderful. Little Tree stirred his leaves to look about. In the distance, he saw a star shining more brightly than any he had ever seen. It seemed to cast a light down on one small village some distance away. Little Tree had heard people speak of the village. It was called Bethlehem. Before long, men and women began traveling the road, running past Little Tree, their eyes watching the star, and Little Tree could sense an odd but wonderful calm which seemed to settle over the land.
Haven't you heard? A little baby's cry. A little baby's cry. Haven't you seen? The star up in the sky. The star up in the sky. The star will point the way to the baby born today. Oh, hear the angels sing. The star will point the way to a manger full of hay, where we will find the King. Haven't you heard the music in the night? The music in the night. Haven't you seen the angels in the light? The angels in the light. The star will point the way to the baby born today. Oh, hear the angels sing. The star will point the way to a manger full of hay, where we will find the King. The star will point the way to a manger full of hay, where we will find the King.
Little Tree didn't understand what had been happening this strange night, yet there was a restful peace inside him which made him sure that all was right with the world. Each year, Little Tree cast a bigger shadow over the hilltop. He kept a close watch on every ox cart that passed, always hoping to see one made from the wood of his old friend. Every once in a while, Little Tree would get a longing to be made into something himself. But as the years went by, men seemed quite content to let Little Tree continue his duties as a shade tree. One day, a small group of men stopped to eat in the shade of his branches. Little Tree was fascinated by one of the travelers. The man had the most kind and gentle face he had ever seen. His quiet eyes seemed to pass a blessing upon everything at which he looked. And of all the hundreds who had stopped to rest there, this man was the first to really look at Little Tree and remark on what a beautiful tree he was. Little Tree was deeply touched by his words. He knew that he would never forget the man with the kind face.
His look was like 1,000 words that whispered to my empty heart the kindest things I'd ever heard, as if he'd known me from the start. I saw the sunshine through his eyes. It melted me like winter snow. I saw the sunshine through his eyes. I'll never let it go. I saw the sunshine through his eyes. I'll never let it go. I'll never let it go.
One evening, Little Tree noticed the sun seemed to have disappeared very suddenly. A great wind rose quickly and swished through his leaves and branches, warning the birds to take cover.
This looks like a real rainstorm. I just hope it doesn't blow so hard it keeps me awake all night.
Soon the sky was completely darkened as thunder and lightning boomed their way from cloud to cloud. Little Tree tried to settle himself for the night. He usually liked to sleep through a good rain, but this was such a storm that he could do no more than doze off when he would be awakened again by the thunder and wind. Suddenly, at the height of the storm, a streak of lightning seared its way from a cloud and struck Little Tree with a mighty crash. His trunk was split almost in two by the blast, and he felt the burn to the very tips of his roots. Little Tree was stunned for several minutes. When he was able to move again, he gathered all his strength and tried to hold himself together to last out the storm. He knew he could do nothing to repair the damage until morning. He was still too weak from the blow. At last, the night passed and the sun dawned over a clear sky. All the earth was fresh and glistening. It was a lovely morning, but Little Tree couldn't enjoy it. He looked at himself in misery. The burn still ached through him, and his trunk was split by a charred black hole. He knew he would never be able to mend it alone.
If only someone would bind my trunk with a rope or something to close this terrible gap. I just know it would heal.
Still, no one offered to help. His leaves began to wither and drop away until his once beautiful foliage was almost completely gone. People no longer paused to rest beneath his branches, for he could not provide that shade as he once did. As the months passed, he found himself gradually giving up all hope of ever recovering. In his deep loneliness and pain, Little Tree spent many restless nights looking up at the sky and hoping for a miracle.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, what a miracle you are. Wonder how you ever came to be. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, are there any miracles for me? I've heard many others say joy is just a wish away. Twinkle, am I ever gonna see someone who will come my way, holding any miracles for me? Can the impossible come true? To mend a heart that's torn in two. If I believe with all my might, my dreams will shine within your light. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, shining wonder that you are. You have given light for me to see. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, maybe there's a miracle for me. Maybe there's a miracle for me.
One evening toward sunset, Little Tree was preparing to settle down to another night of uneasy sleep when he noticed a man approaching. Even in the twilight, he recognized the man at once as the traveler with the kind face and quiet manner who had admired him that day so long ago. Little Tree was delighted to have company, but he was sad that the man should see him now, so weak and broken. The stranger paused to look at the tree, and Little Tree imagined that he was remembering how beautiful he was when they last met. Little Tree watched his visitor closely. He seemed weary and troubled. The man rested for a time, then did something which Little Tree thought very strange. The traveler rose to his knees, turned his face toward the heavens, and closed his eyes as if he were sleeping. Yet Little Tree knew he was not sleeping, so he continued to watch him, puzzled. A few hours before dawn, the man got to his feet. Oddly, he seemed refreshed, even though he had not slept. Then, unexpectedly, the stranger looked again at Little Tree and placed his hands gently on the tree's trunk. For the first time in months, Little Tree felt completely relaxed. He fell into a sound sleep as the man walked away toward the town. Little Tree woke with a start. One look at the sun told him he had overslept, for it was mid-morning. A great babble of voices brought his attention to the road. There was a large gathering of people around him, all of them pointing at him and talking excitedly among themselves. Little Tree was baffled. He looked at himself quickly to try and learn why he was such a curiosity. Then he looked again. It was unbelievable. He looked at himself a third time. It was true. He was exactly the same as he had been in the most beautiful days before that awful storm. Little Tree heard the people about him saying, "It's a miracle!" And he agreed. Indeed, it was a miracle.
Who only yawns when they've heard good news? And when the sun's shining down, who can snooze? Who wouldn't sing out a melody if they were bound and now they're free? Who can be cool when their heart's on fire, or settle down when their hopes are higher? And who can walk when they want to fly? Well, you can bet it isn't I. I want to shout, I want to cheer about the joy that fills my soul. I want to sing and let 'em hear that He has made me whole. I want the world to know.
Does a dance when their dream comes true? Who never smiles when the sky's turning blue? Who would leap and laugh out loud if they were lost and now they're found?
Who can be cool when their heart's on fire, or settle down when their hopes are high? And who can walk when they want to fly? Well, you can bet it isn't I. I want to shout, I want to cheer about the joy that fills my soul. I want to sing and let 'em hear that He has made me whole. I want the world to know. I want to laugh, I want to cry, I want to ride it in the sky. I want to sing eternally. God is good to me. I want to shout, I want to cheer about the joy that fills my soul. I want to sing and let 'em hear that He has made me whole. I want the world to know.
And so, once again, Little Tree became the popular landmark on the hilltop, with travelers on the road always stopping to rest in his shade. The birds nested in his branches and small animals played about his trunk. Little Tree was happy again. Yet, in spite of his own happiness, there was a strange tension in the air which told him that all was not well through the land. He would often see groups of men arguing furiously among themselves.
How foolish men are sometimes. Why can't everybody be happy as I am? Just enjoying life and glad to be alive.
Then, one day, several men with axes and saws stopped before Little Tree. Their faces were hard and unsmiling, but he didn't notice, for he was too excited. At last, he was to be made into something.
Wow, I wonder what I'll be. A house? Or a cart? Or maybe even a great palace.
The men looked at Little Tree from all sides, then began to work. But instead of setting their saws in his trunk as he thought they would, one man climbed into his branches and sawed off one of his biggest limbs. They hacked away the small branches from the limb and hauled it off with them. Little Tree was bewildered. He couldn't imagine what the men would do with just one limb.
Now I suppose I will never know what they're going to do with my big branch.
But a few days later, Little Tree saw a great procession coming along the road toward his hill. There were many soldiers and hundreds of men and women. He watched them closely as they approached the crest of the hill. As they drew nearer, he was able to see them all plainly. The bark about his trunk stiffened. One glance told him what the men had done with his limb.
It's a cross. My branch was made into a cross.
And there, struggling to carry the heavy cross, was the man with the kind face. Little Tree could hardly believe his eyes. He saw the man stumble and fall time after time under the weight of the cross, but no one offered to help him. Instead, they threw stones and made fun of him. Little Tree turned his eyes away. He couldn't stand to watch any longer. But after a while, he had to turn and look again to see what the crowd had done to the man. By then, the procession had reached the top of a neighboring hill. There, Little Tree saw the people set up 3 crosses, and on one of them, they nailed the man with the kind face. The man called Jesus.
Why? What could he possibly have done to deserve this? All he did was save my life. All he did was be my friend, and then mend my broken heart so that I could smile again. Now they've taken him away, and I just can't understand why they've treated him this way. Oh, they must not know this man. No, they must not know this man called Jesus. He's so gentle, he's so kind. What could he be guilty of? Oh, how could it be a crime that he gave all his love? Now the man who saved my life has been nailed upon a cross, and the joy that he made mine, without him will all be lost. Oh, they must not know this man called Jesus. If they'd known him like I do, if they'd felt his gentle touch, if they'd only seen the love in his eyes, then I hope someday they will. Then like me they'll understand what it is to love this man called Jesus. Will the morning ever come and the night be left behind? Jesus is the only one who can bring the sun to shine. Now I feel just like the sky when the rain begins to start. I can't stop these tears I cry from the pain that's in my heart. Oh, they must not know this man called Jesus. If they'd known him like I do, if they'd felt his gentle touch, if they'd only seen the love in his eyes, well, I hope someday they will. Then like me they'll understand what it is to love this man called Jesus. Jesus.
Suddenly, the bright daylight turned to darkness as thunder echoed over the hills and lightning angrily flashed through the black clouds. Little Tree knew this must be the ugliest day in the world's history. For the first time in all his life, Little Tree cried. He cried until all his leaves were wet from the tears. Soon all the trees in the world heard what had happened, and they cried too, for they all knew of the wonderful thing the man had done for Little Tree. The willow tree shed such great tears that its leaves drooped to the ground, where they've stayed even to this day. For 3 whole days, not a bird sang, not a leaf stirred. It was as if the whole earth had died. But on the morning of the 3rd day, this day was different.
High, 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 the sun has risen high. His glory crowns the day, the shadows fade away. High, 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 the sun has risen high. Now all the world will see the light of victory.
This day was different, all right, and Little Tree could feel it. The birds were singing, and the sunshine was warm. Little Tree was beside himself. He was so happy. He waved his branches with joy and shouted,
He lives! He lives!
Although he healed the lame and the blind, although he taught that men should be kind, they crucified the giver of bread, but he became the victor over death. He lives, he's risen from the dead. He lives, he's risen as he said. He conquered death and sin. The grave could never win. He lives, rejoice, the Savior lives. They tried to see the glorious sun. They thought at last the night had come. But to the dread of all his foes, 3 days later, Jesus Christ arose. He lives, he's risen from the dead. He lives, he's risen as he said. He conquered death and sin. The grave could never win. He lives, rejoice. He lives, rejoice. He lives, rejoice. Jesus
Jesus, the man with the kind face, stayed and taught his followers for many days. And then, one day, as he was speaking, he began to rise gently from the earth, up into the clouds. Little Tree turned all his leaves upward to watch this amazing sight. Suddenly, he had the feeling the man was leaving, never to return, and he cried out after him.
Please, please, please don't go!
The man looked down to him and said, "Keep watch for me, Little Tree, for someday I will come back." And with that, he drifted further upward toward the sun until he seemed to be lifted into heaven itself. Little Tree did keep watch. Each day he would turn all his leaves toward the sun and follow it closely from dawn till sunset. Soon, all the other trees on earth heard what had happened, and they too turned their leaves upward, keeping watch with Little Tree.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, shining wonder that you are. You have given light for me to see.
And so it is that even today, every tree in the whole world turns its leaves upward toward the sun, keeping watch, as Little Tree first did centuries ago.
Now the impossible is true. He'll mend a heart that's torn in two. If you believe with all your might, your dreams will shine within his light. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, shining wonder that you are. You have given light for me to